Hello, this is Paladin Prepper, and I just received my Worm Factory 360. And if you are not informed about vermiculture, let me explain that worm tea, which will come out of that spigot, will be very helpful to your garden, and also the worm castings, which will be in the lower level. And so I've already assembled it. Since this unit comes with a very good video that explains how to put it together and how to initially start it if you've never started one, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel by shooting it from the beginning. So I went ahead and assembled it because, the reason being, I already have a worm bin. Now, I had made a makeshift worm factory before, and it didn't take off the way I wanted it to, so I simply transferred them to a worm bin. And you can put all kinds of scraps in here in the worm bin. You can't see very many of them right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give the camera to Prepper A and to shoot the rest of the video. Now, what I want to show you here is that we really don't need, right now, we're not going to need these top three. Ultimately, all of these are going to be used. But right now, we're going to set these aside over here, just for the moment. I've already put some newspaper in here and wet those with water. And now, since we come in here, I'll transfer. We take out this one that has food in it. We'll use that later. And you get a good shot of the worms there. There's some worms. All right. Okay, now I'm going to transfer some of the worms and as I said, if you're doing it from scratch, then you want to follow the video, the instruction video that comes with the unit. But since I had already established the worms, they're already accustomed to this environment. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer them. Okay, that should be enough for this one. Now the rest of them I'm going to use for something else, and I can do a later video on that. See, I have enough worms here. It's been so prolific. The worms have been so prolific. And by the way, you only use red wigglers for composting worms because they have a more voracious appetite for composting than any other worm. So that's why you only use red wigglers. The other portion of the worms that are remaining, I'm going to use for human ear. And you can find out about that online as well. So now that I have these worms in place, I'll take this and put that in place, and this one, the one on the bottom, is where the worms are. The one on the top is where the food goes. And of course there are a few worms already in here, and that's fine. And if you can get a shot in here, you can see, here's how I made my homemade version of this unit. Is I went to Walmart and bought one of these tubs like this, and simply measured and cut out a section in the bottom. And then you can go to the craft section of Walmart and buy this this type of material, craft mesh. And then I just took some little strips here and stapled it in there to make my own. But like I said, this unit didn't work as well as I wanted it to. And so that's why I created the worm bin. But now that the worm bin has become so prolific, I went ahead and got this the 360 here. You can see I have quite a number of worms here. All right. Now what we'll do is just keep shooting that. Now what I'll do is I'll simply spread this out a little bit, like that. Put some paper on it, like so. Take some water and moisten the paper a little bit. Good enough. And then we'll put the lid on it. Now over time, let me back up a little bit now. Over time, as we continue to add scraps, food scraps, into the top portion, then the worms from the bottom will climb up through the holes and eat in here. And then as they process all that, then I'll add more sections, and so then it will be as tall as you saw it originally. So if you have any questions, or be sure and post comments in the section below. This is Paladin Prepper with Worm Factory 360. Hey, just one other thing, a couple of other things I want to mention to you is this unit comes with a unit to put in here, so when you have this thing full of worm tea, this holds a gallon. It doesn't look like it holds a gallon, but it does. And so you open the spigot, and then you can turn it around and pour it out where you want it here. The other thing I want to mention is I receive no monetary compensation for, I'm not endorsing the product for compensation or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you the experience. Paladin Prepper.